And we are back with the best, and I said the BEST wrestling podcast in all the land. And why is that, say you? Well, it's not me. It's not me. It's Damascus Dez and Vinny Bucci. And we are here to recap the aforementioned Survivor Series from the days of yore, it seems. It seems like it's been forever, guys. While we're here, we might as well clear the air and Dez's throat as we discuss who is the new prediction champion. And it's not Vinny Kennedy Bucci, nor is it yours truly, the Wenz. It is on his way to Damascus, Dez. He saw the light. He came home champion. And we are about just over a month away from the next pay-per-view? Guys, is this what I'm going to have to deal with for the next month of my life? Is that Pennywise sweater and your championship belt? Oh my gosh.
In all fairness, you will not have to deal with this championship belt. Because this championship belt is no more. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the brand new Wenz World Prediction Championship.
You said Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Whoa. Groovy.
There it is.
An actual belted. Now it has real belt buckles. Leather. Viking Double Dragon Championship.
Oh, that's what you sent me on Twitter. Is that the picture you sent me on Twitter?
It is.
I was wondering what the hell. I thought he was going to send me inappropriate pictures, but it was just a picture of the belt. So there you have it. I love it. I think it looks great. It's something that the Viking Raiders would wear. Don't you say? Don't you say?
It is. And it's absolutely beautiful. This is, in all fairness, what this actually is it is Viking waist armor, but it is just absolutely beautiful. Looks like a great classic style championship belt. And now we have an adult belt that actually looks good for our purposes.
Hey, what's wrong with Vinny's belt? He's got it around his left shoulder there. What's going on?
It's a plastic belt that doesn't fit around any of our waists.
Yeah, that one actually that one even fits around my waist, so that tells you something right there. But yeah, well, this has sentimental value because Elvis bought this at a store and painted it, so there's a little bit of sentimental value attached to that one. The belt that Dez threw away, that really didn't have any sentimental value. That was something I got at Target. So that one I get tossing. This one, though, has a little bit of sentimental value because Elvis did put some love and care into this to make it look presentable because it looked like when he bought it.
But what do y'all think? I love it. I personally love it.
Oh, it's great.
I'm super happy with it.
He showed it to me at the Survivor Series, but we still kept it on the download just in case. So I got to see an early preview of it before the Wenz World fans.
Indeed. It looks great. I got a picture beforehand. But we have to move forward, guys, because I envision myself holding that belt proudly, right? It even matches my Ron Paul 2012 Restore America Now shirt. As you can see, it's wrinkled, much like this nation. This nation is very wrinkled right now. Needs a do-over.
And with who's running for president in the next election, I don't see it getting any better.
Hey, listen, if you know who runs, it will get better.
Oh,
so
that'll be a fun one.
Oh, we'll do a show just about that. But
you really want to get into politics with somebody?
No, not right now, but later, definitely.
It's too late for me. You don't want to go down that road.
So speaking of down the road, we gotta look back behind us, right? We've been moving forward down the road to WrestleMania, but Survivor Series is behind, Royal Rumble ahead. A lot has happened since the 25th of November, gentlemen. I got to wrap my head around what went down at Survivor Series. Let's go ahead and give all the results, and we're going to go back and talk about the matches. Just to recap, Booch, the final score tally, if you will.
The final score tally was it was a three-way tie. We all got 4. We all tied on this one. However, there were tiebreakers in place that caused it. My tiebreaker was Damian Priest cashing in the Money in the Bank, which was that close to happening, by the way. I was a second away from taking that championship belt. A second away. And we'll get to the match itself, but I was a second away, and then the goddamn Vipers music played. So I was half happy to see him on that one. Wenz had Brock Lesnar answering an open challenge, which made me laugh my ass off because the open challenge I made was a hypothetical, and I guess you assumed that was happening on the show.
No. Hold on.
That I made.
Whoa. Hold on. That was dirt sheet rap that a lot of people were talking about that I bought into. So I was listen.
Okay, fair.
I was
And Desmond's tiebreaker, and you can tell I'll put my belt down for a second, was the moment that broke the internet, the moment that I had been calling for months and weeks, and as has the internet, the return of the prodigal son, CM Punk, is back in the WWE. Hell froze over big time, and it was the most beautiful thing, and it was done perfectly. Because if anybody that's watched wrestling for years, which I can assume is all of us, there's one thing that happens at the end of every wrestling show, especially in WWE. They have a moment where they have a little thing in the bottom right-hand corner. This has been going on since the beginning of Monday Night Raw. There's a trademark thing at the end. Whenever that thing pops up, within a couple seconds, the show's going off the air. So as soon as that pops up, we're like, well, I guess it ain't happening. All of a sudden, Cult of Personality plays. Chicago loses their mind. CM Punk comes out, looks like he de-aged 10 years. Like, I don't know what it is about leaving AEW and going to WWE, but somehow it's like you get your youth back or whatever.
Botox,
I'll tell
baby.
you what happened. He trimmed his beard and got a haircut. That's really all it was. He trimmed his beard and got a haircut.
And
it's amazing what grooming will do.
Exactly. And he but the roof blew off the place to the point where he didn't have to say it's clobbering time. He let the fans finish it. When the fans are finishing a phrase that you have, you're fucking over.
Yep.
So this is the most insane moment. And here's the best part. As soon as after he celebrates a little bit on the ramp, show fades to black, which was perfect because now it's like, oh shit, you got to wait. Now you have to tune in to TV tomorrow. You have no choice but to tune in to find out what the fuck happened. Aside from Triple H a little bit the press conference, but it was beautiful.
I want to say something about that. I actually got into a debate with somebody on Facebook, which is, I do it a lot, but this is one of those times where I should have known to stop. It was just never going to make that dude was not going to make any sense. He was trying to say that it was done stupidly and CM Punk did nothing to move what had nothing to do with the numbers that Raw pulled. How, like, because they didn't advertise him for Raw. I'm like, you don't have to advertise him for Raw. If he shows up at the very end of the pay-per-view and says nothing, you tune into Raw.
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit? Oh my God. It's like, yes.
It's like they didn't advertise it. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
They didn't have to.
That's good storytelling.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a Judgment Day 2000 when Triple H and Rock had the Iron Man match and The Undertaker came back. You knew he was coming to Raw the next night.
Call
and you
back.
had questions. Why is he back? Did he intentionally screw The Rock? Why is he wearing a leather jacket riding a motorcycle? Because we'd never seen this shit before. So we all had questions. So it's like, that's what it does. Like that guy's a moron.
Yeah.
He was so much a Punk hater that he refused to see what was so obvious. And that whether you like it or not, he is moving numbers.
Indeed.
Now,
Yes.
That being said, the numbers from that following Raw to this past Raw did drop. So even though he was going to be there, we knew he was going to be there, he didn't push those numbers back up again as much.
But I will say, you're right but who cares about the numbers? What I saw, the eye test, passed the eye test this last week. We saw the confrontation that we've been waiting for. We saw mano a mano, Seth freaking Rollins, eye to eye with the best in the world. And
Absolutely.
it's going to happen. It was great. It was like This is not your home. You walked away. This is my home. You turned your back on everybody. Not only did you turn your back on them, you talked about them when you were gone. That's funny. That's real. It's real. It's true.
You know what's really funny about this?
Yeah.
It's almost the same promo he cut on Cody Rhodes a year ago.
Actually, you know what's even funnier than that? There's one part that's verbatim what Hangman Adam Page said to Punk in AEW. The only difference is with Seth Rollins saying it, it's actually part of the story they're telling, as opposed to being Adam Page being an empty-headed dumb fuck and going into business for himself and trying to shoot in a place where it makes no sense. At least with Rollins, it explains the story they're telling that Punk, this isn't your home. You backed away. You slandered everybody, because it's true. He was calling Seth Rollins a bootlicker the whole time he was gone, because and this is during a time, by the way, when all the fans were shitting on Seth Rollins for being a raw corporate shill, for being the company guy that's saying, oh, WWE will always be the best place. They said, like, they asked him, like, would you love to have a match with Kenny Omega? And his answer was, if Kenny wants to wrestle me, he can come here, because this is the best place to be. And which pissed off all the fans, because back then everybody had hard-ons for AEW. They don't really anymore. They're getting more and more flaccid by the month. In fact, with Punk showing up, WWE's stock has gone up, AEW stock is going down, and here's the thing: the longer he's there and there's no fights, the more they start to realize, you know what? Maybe he wasn't the problem.
But
it is still way too early to say this.
And go ahead. You say your thing. Say your thing.
True. No, you're right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because right now I believe Punk is specifically being on his best behavior, and it's not me hating on Punk, but I love Punk. But he does have a history.
Didn't you hear?
It was in his first run in WWE and in AEW. He does have a history. Now, that being said, I will always give him the benefit of the doubt, because I love Punk. He is the best on that microphone. He is one of the best in the ring, and very few. I very much enjoy him on commentary. I won't say he's the best on the commentary, no matter what he tries to say. But I enjoy him. To me, CM Punk is this generation's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But let me stop. Let me stop you there. You're right, but you're wrong. Steve Austin was his character, but he wasn't a bad guy in the locker room. He was a guy that people got along with. CM Punk is,
I agree.
It's an actual, this story that Seth Rollins told on Monday about, hey, either way, whether you fail or I make you fail, I'm here for it. And I'm going to see it happen on my watch and on my terms. And that is like, oh my God, he's literally telling what's actually happened in real life. And we are seeing this unfold, and we are going to see this week after week until January comes and Royal Rumble, and he's going to win the damn Rumble. I mean, why are we even talking about who's going to win the Royal Rumble?
I'm definitely calling. He's winning that Rumble.
I will say this about the Rumble, though, real quick. This is the first time in, I think, years where you have a Royal Rumble where there are multiple people who could win that have a story to tell. Usually there's one guy that has a story, and if somebody else gets it, they got to build one. You got Punk, who has a story with Rollins.
You got Randy.
You got Randy, who possibly has a story, I think.
With everybody.
Cody definitely has one.
Yep.
And you can even throw in LA Knights. There's multiple people that could win this year, although Punk,
Come on.
He's winning. It's either
I'm
Punk or Cody.
Right now.
It's either Punk or Cody. If it's not Punk, it's going to be Cody.
Okay, but
I don't think Cody's going to do it. I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to have Cody end up doing Elimination Chamber and winning a match to go to Roman.
Okay, but getting back to Rumble, because that's what's ahead, right? What number do you have to come in as if you're Punk to be taken seriously to win it all? I feel like you got to come in within the first 5, right?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, because he is an older wrestler, you want to put him in later so that he doesn't start fading out towards the end of the match. If he was one of the younger guys, like the guys who win from the earlier things are still young guys. You know what I mean? You still got Stone when Stone Cold did it. He was the Rumble at that point. Stone Cold was he was still fairly young and he hadn't had his major injury yet. You know what I mean? Same deal with you know, you've got your major Iron Man guys, and Punk just isn't one of those.
I've seen a couple old heads win. There are a couple old heads.
Well, Edge won at number 1, and he was pretty up. He was pretty up there in age.
Yeah, high 30s, right?
Upper
upper
30s.
30s.
I think he's like in his 50s now. So I would say like maybe maybe mid or late 40s.
Oh, late 40s. Oh my God.
He was not. He definitely was not. Okay, you know what?
When did he win it, Booch? Call it back. When was it?
I want to say it was 2021.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. Because he came back and it was a big deal.
2020.
Yes, but he won from number 30.
He won.
But he won from he won from a later spot.
No, we're talking about
No, he was number 1. No,
he came in as number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys who won it at number 1. There was Shawn Michaels, there was Benoit, and there was Edge. So, because Benoit won at number 1 at 2004, you just don't see that listed for obvious reasons. Right. And Shawn Michaels, obviously, he was younger when he won it in 90. It was either 95 or 96 that he won it at number 1. I know those are the 2 years he won, but I can't remember which one he was the first entrant in. I want to say 95, but I don't know that for sure. But no, Edge was 2021 when he won the Rumble then. But in 2010, he was younger, but he had a different number. But in 2021, he was the first entrant.
So Edge currently is 50 years old right now. So 2 years ago, he was born on October 30th.
Yeah. So it could have been 47, 48.
That's still old. At number 1, that's great cardio. And it's also great protection in the ring and getting beat up, getting put in a corner, slide under the ropes for a few minutes, then come back in. It's smart.
He found a way to drag the time out. He wasn't like going full throttle during that number 1 spot. I'm sure there were moments where he was on the ground or somewhere else or doing whatever, so everybody else can get their spots. Because they usually have they have the person that comes in that does all the spots to get the crowd going, coming like a house of fire, and then other people like in the corner just kind of like punching each other, trying not to notice.
Technically, Edge was announced as the number 2 person.
Even if he's number 2, it's still top 5.
He was number 2, what?
But me and Vinny have had this argument with Rey Mysterio.
Hold on, he was number 2?
He was announced as number 2, but he went from bell to bell, and they count him as so WWE counts him as in the number 1.
Okay, but it would still require 2 people to start the match,
right?
So whether he's 1 or 2, it doesn't freaking matter. He's still the same.
That is a point. We've had that argument before. So I just
so the only reason I bring it up is because me and Vinny have had this argument before, and I was on your side. I am sorry, it's bell to bell. The first 2 people are both number 1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, let me take this hair and split it real quick. Now let's move on. Yeah, it happens. There's an exception to every rule. Edge, HBK, Benoit, so that's that. But looking forward,
hold on. It says, I'm reading right here. It says Edge has become the 3rd person in history to win the Royal Rumble after entering at number 1. He outlasted all 29, including a sneaky Randy Orton and a returning Christian. It says he was number 1.
No, he was not. That is I just read another article just a second ago.
We're losing. We've lost somebody else right during this argument. It doesn't matter. It still takes 2 people to start a damn match. What does it matter? It's 1 or 2. 1 and 2 is the same thing. 3 and beyond is different. I mean, you have to have two to tango, baby.
All right. We got a Survivor Series to get to.
Yeah, we just wasted. We have 10 minutes left, guys. Come on. So that's the updated storyline around CM Punk. We'll update you more as Rumble approaches. We'll do another show before Rumble. I'm sure we'll do one sometime before late January, right? So let's recap real quick. Team Bianca wins the War Games. Any comments on that, Booch? I love the way she used her hair. I always love that. Go ahead.
Yes, I love that. There were some good spots in this match. There were at least 2 or 3 that Desmond and I didn't particularly care for. Like for example, like the fact that they do the fact that there's no lid on the cage is why they do stupid spots on top of the cage. So at one point, Kairi Sane puts a trash can on her, and I'm like, Des enjoyed it, but I'm sitting here thinking, I know something.
I thought it was cool. What, you didn't like that?
No, I'll tell you why. First of all, it looked dumb. Second of all, what killed the spot was everyone standing there like, oh, we all got to get together and wait to catch. that kills whatever spot that anybody's doing.
I agree.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that, and I agreed with you on it when it happened. But at the same time, it was a cool and unique way to use the trash can that we've never seen before.
Yeah, we did mention that. Yeah, so like I said, there was that spot. I can't remember the other. I think, and then Charlotte did the moonsault that Tez and I both agreed like she needs to stop doing that because
she lands on her feet every time she does a moonsault to people who are standing. And I'm sorry, that tells me that they're not taking the boom. You're taking the boom.
Exactly. It's like you're not even trying to hide that.
Don't do the goddamn moonsault.
Thank you. So exactly. So aside from that, it was pretty good. Except and of course I had my own little quirks that Desmond and I debated on. Like for example, I don't like in war games when the babyface team has the one person advantage going in. I feel like it messes up the psychology of the match. I also need to know, why is it in the war games we got to have 20 steel chairs, 10 kendo sticks, 3 trash can lids, and a partridge and a pear tree? Can anybody just go in and have a fight now? Just go in and fight each other. Or if you're gonna do the kendo stick thing, like do it if like the heels come in with 2 kendo sticks, then maybe the babyface can come in, grab 2 kendo sticks, toss to the other person, and sword fight. That I'd be fine with, but having to pull out 20 tables and all this other stuff, like usually when you do that, you're doing that for one of 3 reasons. 1, the match is so personal, you got to kill each other. I don't think that qualifies. 2nd, you're trying to overcompensate for the fact you don't know how to wrestle or work. Obviously, these women know how to do that. Or 3, your storyline is so incredibly boring, you need weapons to liven it up. So if this match didn't fall into those 3 categories, the weapons weren't necessary.
See, and I'm going to have to disagree with you on this, on your first point, as a matter of fact, because they specifically showed it as Damage Control taking everybody out who was even trying to help Charlotte and Bianca, and it's like they made a big point of that. So it was very personal in that sense. And therefore, it made a lot of sense for them to bring in those weapons and try to take them out further. And especially with Bianca, with the faces, they're like, you took out everybody who was trying to help us. Now it's personal for us trying to take you out. It made a lot of fucking sense.
Okay, I can see that.
Gunther defeating The Miz. We all kind of call this, right? Did anybody on this squad predict The Miz walking out?
I wanted to see Miz win, but I knew better and definitely voted Gunther on this one. But
when you said that, Booch's face just did weird things when you said you wanted to see it's like Booch, there's nerve or something just like pulsed on his forehead. It was weird.
I love Miz as an Intercontinental Champion. I love him as Intercontinental Champion. He does a great job to me as an EIC champion. And I feel like the story he was telling with Gunther was great. And I think it's going to be even better when they meet at the Rumble.
Yeah, for sure. It takes time, right? All good things take time. And where are we? He's already surpassed Honky Tonk, right? So
yes, he's definitely surpassed the Honky Tonk Man.
He is officially the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time.
So how much longer do you keep it? Do you keep it till Mania? What do you do if you're WWE?
The current story is Gunther accepted the challenge from Miz. Mm-hmm. So, but if Miz loses, he's no longer allowed to challenge for it as long as Gunther is champion.
This is like a last chance kind of thing.
Yeah. So I feel like Miz is going to win. I feel like Miz is going to take it from him. And so I think it ends at the Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I could see that happening.
Booch, it's a good time because he's running through most of the roster. So it is a good time for it to happen.
I mean, who instead of The Miz, Booch, let me put this ball in your court.
Oh, I know. I think 3 people he'll name right off the top of my head.
Who do you think is more deserving than a 2-time Grand Slam champion? 2-time Grand Slam champion, The Miz, just in case you forgot that.
Who do I think is more deserving? Wow. How much time do we have?
Not much.
Do we have enough time in the show for me to list everybody? Because that'd be the fast answer, like almost everyone. I will say this though. Everybody knows how I feel about The Miz, so I don't need to go down that road. But I'll just say this. For a long time, I have said that The Miz in his entire 20-year career, if we want to call it that, has had 2 matches that were actually worth a damn. So if you want to hear me compliment The Miz, here it is. After Survivor Series, there's now 3. And that's probably the nicest thing I'll say about him. So if I was y'all, I'd take it and run. But I will say this. He didn't suck. I was impressed with this one. Now, like I said, am I gonna acknowledge The Miz as one of the greats? Absolutely fucking not. It would take a lot to get me to do that. I will say he did his job. He did very well. Hell. And if you want to know who I would have take it from Gunther, there's a lot of people. I feel like McIntyre should have took it a long time ago. I'd have gave it to him.
Too late.
If DIY wasn't together, I'd have Ciampa take it. I feel like Tommaso would be great. If he wasn't taking time off, I'd give it to Sammy. I feel like that would be a good way to, put him back. Let's see. Who else would I throw in here? It's a
Bronson Reed.
Huh? Bronson Reed? Yeah, that'd be a good one. Bronson Reed. Maybe Jay. Main event Jay could do it.
Ooh.
Why not main event Jay?
I'd love to see Ivar using that fucking moonsault. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That dude's insane. He's like a gymnast at 350 pounds. It's insane.
I never wish injury on any wrestler, but since Eric left, Ivar has stepped up.
Yeah.
And I am really worried that Eric's going to come back and it's just going to drag Ivar back down.
Yeah. I mean, because when he comes back, they're putting him back in a tag team. I don't know if they have any plans for Ivar as a singles. Not that he wouldn't do well in a singles. I just don't think they have plans for it. But yeah, that's what I would do. So I would have somebody else take it. But I will admit, The Miz did have a good showing in this match. I did not expect that from him. There were moments that I did not see coming. I was like, all right. Miz knew he was in. I think The Miz knew that he had to take this match seriously, or he had to kind of do more to really take on Gunther. And there were a few times where I was like, fuck, they're really going to do this. And then Gunther tapped him out and I went, thank you, Jesus. So yeah, I'll admit this was a good one.
Des, do you want to maybe for like Pooch's birthday next year, go in on a cameo from The Miz? Like just go on, just get him something special, something personalized.
I don't necessarily tell him he interviewed you once and has a specific hatred for you. Make fun of him, please.
It's like a hate hard on that Pooch has for The Miz.
Just have him be absolutely the sweetest person in the world to Vinny in this cameo.
Yeah.
That would be cruel. That would be worse. If you're really looking to get under my skin, that would be worse. Because then if I say anything, I'm a dick. But if he's a dick to me in there, it just makes it easiver. So now you know how to torture me.
That's exactly why I do it. Because I am that person.
You are a cruel son of a bitch.
You've known me for over a decade.
Yes,
There you have it. That's what friends are for. I'll tell you what. Moving back to wrestling. Sorry, guys. Everybody watching this show. We digress often. Squirrel. Santos Escobar. Dude. Everybody needs to take a second look and a good look at this guy. He's on his way up the mountain. And it won't be long, guys. It won't be long until we're talking about him in one of these title matches. Des, you're ready to talk. Go ahead, brother.
I'm pissed about his showing at Survivor Series. Not that it wasn't a good match. It was an okay match. But when they took away Carlito and put Dragon Lee in his place, it became a matter of we knew who was going to win. It did nothing to boost Santos' stock. That was the worst business move, in my opinion, that WWE could have made involving Santos.
Who would they put instead? Who would you have? I mean,
they should have left it the fuck alone.
But didn't he get hurt? Fight. Wasn't it an injury?
It was a kayfabe injury. It wasn't a legit injury. That was a kayfabe angle injury.
I think what they're doing is they're trying to push it back to put Santos and Carlito at the Rumble at a big four. That's the only reason I could think to do what they did. But to me, it just completely killed the excitement for Santos's match.
Yeah.
And I love Dragon Lee, but that was not the right time to use Dragon Lee.
No. The fans were bored to tears and nobody cared. Like literally, nobody cared. The crowd, and it's Chicago, so you can tell that crowd was dead for that match. There was no excitement. There was nothing.
They didn't boo, nothing.
They didn't cheer. They didn't boo. It was like, well, we're gonna go get some nachos and a t-shirt and use the bathroom, cell phone, cigarette.
Well, they did say they had the highest concessions in Survivor Series history. So,
and it was during that match.
Yeah. So there you go. Maybe they're like, wait a minute, book more terrible matches. No main events. No more main events. Let's have fatal 4-way women's matches. And that's it. Just all that. That's it. I didn't mean to say that. I won't edit that out, though. I mean it. Actually, I did mean to say that. Some of them are terrible. Since you've taken away the elimination factor, it's the first person to get the damn pin. Sorry.
Well, we did mention at WrestleMania 39, there were only 2 matches. There were 2 moments that sucked, and one was the fatal 4-way women's tag match. So that was the worst match of both nights. So
all right, let me slap myself for that. Hold on. All right, there. I deserve that one.
We gave them tried to give them the credit.
That's only because the guys delivered on the last one. So we thought, oh, maybe this one will be good too. So we thought the guy one was going to suck.
In fairness.
And it was that close to stealing the show. So we were like, you know what? All right, let's give the women a shot. No, they disappointed.
In fairness, generally speaking, the ongoing joke in Wenz World is that the women put on a far better match than the men do, ironically, in most pay-per-views. So that's why this is kind of like a little bit disappointing. But we'll talk about what your thoughts are on the following match as Rhea Ripley defeated Zoe Stark. But listen, I watched this whole match and I watched it like a half a time again. I fell asleep during the second half of the second time, as I usually do in the first half. You'd be proud of me. I made it through the whole match, guys. Yay. Coffee. But this one was good, and it showed us everything we wanted. It showed us that don't sleep on Zoe Stark. She's ready, and she is a formidable opponent down the road for anybody, especially Rhea Ripley.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Zoe Stark needed this match. She didn't need the win, but she needed this showing. She needed to prove she was a contender and that she can hang with the big girls. And that's exactly what the fuck she did. This match was phenomenal, told a beautiful story, and as much as I like Zoe Starks, the right person won. It was not the time to take the belt away from Rhea.
Yeah, not even close. And it was one of those things where it was a great match. It was a great showing. However, part of me feels like with all the other stuff going around, with all the other excitement, the crowd wasn't as into it as they would have been if it was on another pay-per-view. This is one of those matches where it got lost in the sauce, but not due to lack of talent or not due to lack of build. It was one of those matches where it was just kind of like, okay, it's there.
It's like throwing a good match in, just a quality match in the middle of WrestleMania when you've got everybody.
Exactly, like when you have all the legends and all the big stars. It's like, all right, well, these guys can wrestle and they're really well, but this isn't Austin, this isn't Rock, this isn't Roddy Piper, God rest him, but that kind of thing. So they were kind of thrown into the mix of, the return of Randy Orton, all the matches we've seen thus far, Punk showing up. Like it was a good match, but the excitement wasn't as strong as it could have been.
It could have been a whole lot better if the timing was right, but it was not for lack of trying. Those women did exactly what they needed to do.
Amen to that.
Yeah, it was a great match. And ironically, the next match is one that we kind of like started off the show with, the end of the match with CM Punk coming out. But we all knew, right? We all knew because we all tied, with the exception of what happened towards the end of this match, which the match didn't matter at that point. Nothing mattered. Did they even finish the show? Did they even finish the match? I don't even remember what happened. As soon as CM Punk came out, everything just went, like I blacked out. Seriously, I don't remember. Did somebody win this match?
They did finish it. What happened was JD McDonough got thrown off the top of the cage and Orton hit an RKO to give the fans their RKO moment. But then Cody hit the crossroads on Damian and pinned him to win the match for the team. So even though Orton hit the... Sorry.
That to me was the one terrible moment of this match. I'm glad that Cody got the win, but Damian should not have taken the pin. I feel like JD or Dom would have been better to take that pin.
Yeah, And although I will say though, the one part about the match I found interesting was when I saw JD trying to climb out of the cage. In the moment when Desmond and I were watching, my first thought was, "You're about to forfeit the match for your team. What the hell are you doing?" But now that we've had time to think about it, I kind of process. It actually made sense to me that they would have done that because technically, a war games is supposed to be submission or surrender, and a forfeit is a form of surrender. So it actually would have worked.
Oh, here's the thing: is we weren't the only ones saying it. Michael Cole brought it up.
Yeah.
In the commentary, he's about to lose the match.
Yeah. But I'm saying it would have been a better finish because it's supposed to be submission or surrender in war games. They added pinfalls, which I'm iffy on that, but I would have, so that would have been a great finish as well. But the match was great, but as from a storytelling standpoint, there's like it's a minor issue, but I need somebody to answer a question for me because I feel like this is an incomplete on the story. Why was Randy Orton late?
Was he?
Oh, I'll tell you exactly what it is. When Randy Orton left, they were still doing pay-per-views on Sunday, and he was sitting there. He was sitting there at home with his wife, and she's like, "Hey, Survivor Series is coming on." Wait, what?
Now, see, that would be a good answer, except for one thing. Because here's the thing, because they said Randy Orton's not here. We don't know where he is. What's going on?
He never brought it up again.
And then Damian comes out, but then Randy Orton comes out. They never explained why he was late.
No,
and also, there was nothing in the back like, oh my God, I think somebody's pulling into the building. I think we see somebody in the locker room. They didn't give us any indication. Randy Orton just walked out as if nothing happened. At no point, no one bothered to go, where the fuck were you? Like, even on Raw when he came out, he didn't be like, oh, my plane was delayed, or I was in the hotel and I was contemplating not coming. I was thinking about not coming because I don't want to help Jay and Sammy. But in the last minute, I realized, I owe it to Cody. He's my friend. So I came out. Something. Give me a reason for why you were late. Think about if you were late to your job.
Saying, like I said, just being able to, like, dude, when I left, pay-per-views were on Sunday.
Something. But here's the other thing that made it even worse, story-wise. Someone actually said they saw his wife in the front row watching the show. So your wife is at the building before you. Like,
obviously he was there.
Sense to me, damn it. Why
he's obviously there. I mean, right? He's there.
With him watching the show from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're sitting out in the crowd, that makes it worse. Like, I'm just sitting here going like, dude, give us something. Because you know for a fact, if you were like 3 hours late to your job and you just walked in, at some point, someone's going to pull you to the side and go, where the fuck were you? You're not just going to be able to sit at your desk and start
I got arrested last night for a DUI and just got bailed out.
Something. Like, give me anything. Like, I was out partying on Main Street, or I got a flat tire and someone had to change it, or or someone gave me the wrong information and I had to take the train to get to the building because the number was
the wrong arena.
like what happened with Punk at Wembley. Just say like, hey, in fact, that would have been funnier because that would have been an inside joke and Punk could have been like very funny.
Moments. The entire time, and that Seth Rollins, when CM Punk came out, the entire time that Seth Rollins is cussing at CM Punk is just sitting there doing the Randy Orton and Orton's doing the.
They're just like waving at each other.
They're just laughing and smiling, having a good old time. While fucking Seth Rollins is throwing a hissy fit.
Which a lot of people are saying that's a work, but I have to believe it's a shoot. And the reason I believe it's a shoot is because if that's a work, Rollins is the worst fucking actor I've ever seen. I think horrible acting.
Both, because obviously we know Seth Rollins has some issues with Punk. Okay.
Yes.
I think they, at some point or another, he was talking with Triple H and he asked, like, are you trying to bring him on and just getting information? And I think, and Triple H saying, I don't know yet. We're not sure what's going on. He's like, but here's the deal. It's like, fine. If you bring him on, it's like, I want you to know, I'm not going to be happy about it, but if you bring him on, I'll play it up a little bit. And I think that's what it was. I think he was a little upset. He wasn't happy about it. I'm pretty sure he didn't know because Triple H said that only like 3 people knew. Okay.
Yeah, it was him and Nick Khan, and that was it.
Yeah. But I feel like Seth Rollins had an inkling that Punk was going to make a return, or at least knew it was in the works and decided to play it up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like from everything that I know about Seth Rollins, yes, he can be emotional. He's a little wild, but he is the consummate professional.
Exactly.
And I don't think he would have done that if he wasn't playing it up a little bit.
Okay.
And so we are out of time. Booch, save those thoughts for our next recording. We're going to do one well before the Rumble, and we will keep a close eye on this ongoing saga between Seth Rollins and the best in the world, CM Punk. Show him the shirt one more time, Booch. There he is. Similar figure as well. Similar physique as CM Punk, I believe. I think, at least. I don't know. Am I wrong? Am I right? Nobody said anything. I'm here by myself. And of course,
it's similar. It's slightly similar.
There you go. There you go. Have some confidence. Be like, damn right it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're right. Size. He's just about a foot taller than you.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey.
A little bit taller, yeah.
And all of you is real, Booch. All of you is real.
Definitely, yes.
That's it, 100%. And of course, our current, and I stress current, prediction champion, Damascus Dez, with the new and improved prediction championship belt here in Wenz World debuting. And I am excited to strip you of that belt and retake what is mine here in the world of Wenz. But before we go, we will never, ever forget to leave you without a few key catchphrases, one of which is, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
Best in the world.